Oh yeah, baby, it's that time of the year. It gets dark an hour earlier, the crisp scent of gamer sweat is in the air, and Jeff Keighley is once again released from his cryopod. That can only mean one thing. It's Game Awards season. Over 100 million people tune in to watch video games get announced, see new trailers, and get angry that SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake didn't sweep every category. Seriously, what's the deal, Jeff? Some serious stuff just dropped. We got the best tweet of all time. I get to watch the Game Awards with Moon Knight covering an eighth of my screen. And last but certainly not least, we got the nominees announced. This was a great year for gaming, a bunch of must-plays and must-nots released, so the ceremony is sure to piss someone off this year. So let's go through each of the categories and predict which game will take home the statue. I should clarify that these picks are not what I think should win, they're what I think will win. My video for best games of 2023 will be coming out around late December to early January. So let's start off with the esports categories. I literally could not care less about 4 out of 5 of these. I literally only care that the best esports event award goes to EVO because my friends participated in a tournament there and got knocked out round 1. For the other esports categories though, whoever you want to win, I also want them to win. For Content Creator of the Year, only one of these guys has a Fortnite skin, so I would say he's getting it. But there are new content creators on the scene. Jeff has 2 hidden nominees, me and my boy KJS Dussav. With that new information, it really is a lock between us, but you can be confident that I'm gonna win this year. I'm sorry, Kevin, but better luck next year. The candidates for most anticipated game are pretty solid. I'm not really too excited for any of these games myself, but I'd say my most anticipated game is Hades 2. But that's not going to get as much traction as Tekken 8 or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And fighting games are also not the most respected in the video game industry, so if I had to put money on it, I'd say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is walking away with it. For Best Adaptation, we're kind of in uncharted waters here because there's no new season of Arcane for the Game Awards to blow. The nominees are Gran Turismo, Twisted Metal, The Last of Us, the Mario movie, and Castlevania. Gran Turismo is lucky to be there. I feel like it got nominated because they needed to fill the last slot. Twisted Metal was surprisingly good. I thought it was very funny, and I'm really excited for Season 2. But from what I understand, it didn't adapt shit. I haven't played the games too much, but I guess the story can be summed up as... So they really just took the characters and their surface-level traits and expanded on them. The Mario movie was honestly not very good, but it was very enjoyable for fans to watch. It was a pretty big deal upon release. A bunch of fanboys threw a tantrum online and said it doesn't have to be critically well received because it's a kids movie, completely neglecting great kids films like this and this and this. So since it was pretty split on quality, I don't think the Mario movie stands a chance against The Last of Us, a series that critics and casual fans alike loved. I have heard fantastic things about the Castlevania series, but I haven't watched it, so I wouldn't be surprised if it won. But based on what I know, I think The Last of Us is taking it. And if it won, a lot of dweebs who hated Episode 3 would get sent into a frenzy and call the Game Awards woke propaganda, which would be pretty funny to see all those people make fools of themselves, so I feel like it's bound to win. Best Multiplayer! Do I have to say it? Okay, I have heard that Mario Wonder's multiplayer is chaotic fun, mainly due to the fact that Nintendo's online services have no voice chat because fuck me. Street Fighter 6's seems standard, and I've never played Party Animals or a Diablo game. So chances are best multiplayer is going to Baldur's Gate 3, with how open and free the multiplayer is. Both strategizing as a full party and dividing and conquering is honestly super fun and free, and allows you to get some quests in Act 1 done faster. You can also decide who does what based on who has the best stats for each scenario. This game's multiplayer is really fleshed out, so I think that Larian is definitely taking this one. And given how much the Game Awards love Zelda games, Souls-likes, and RPGs, that's a sentence you'll be hearing a lot. For the best sports/racing game, I'm 80% confident that a racing game is gonna win. It's probably going to Forza, but I haven't played a single one of these games in a long time, so I could totally be wrong. Best sim/strategy game is most likely going to be given to Pikmin 4, and I'm going to be fucking furious if City Skylines 2 wins. That shit is half-baked and cost $50. I'd much sooner buy an outdated Call of Duty whose price won't drop. There's like a 99% chance that Best Family Game is going to Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which is honestly a bit upsetting to me. I do think Wonder clears every other family game nominated with ease, but that means Disney Illusion Island is not winning shit, bro. I would love to see it win a Game Award, and it would totally deserve it if Mario Wonder came out any other year. But Nintendo is definitely sweeping this category, since on the off chance Mario doesn't win, Pikmin will probably take it. I like the first Nick All-Stars Brawl game, and haven't played the second one, which is nominated for Best Fighting Game of 2023. So I definitely would like to see it win. But then Little Boy and Fat Man dropped on any chance Nickelodeon had at winning. I am on my knees begging Jeff on Twitter to give it to Mortal Kombat 1. I love its story and iterations of these characters, as well as providing some of the smoothest gameplay and most appealing aesthetic in this franchise. But Mortal Kombat is way too casual to win this. More sweat was spilled at the SF6 EVO tourney than there was blood spilt in World War I. So since the Street Fighter scene is much bigger and taken much more serious than Mortal Kombat, my money's on Street Fighter 6. Now before I go into the big boy awards, I'm going to quick fire through some of the more minor categories I haven't covered yet so that this video doesn't last 3 hours. I really would like to go through and discuss each of these, but since I can't, if you'd like to hear my thoughts on a specific category or game I mention, ask me in the comments and I'll reply and discuss with you. I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Best VR/AR game is a stacked category, and I could see the award going to any one of the 5 games, but I'm going to guess Humanity. The Final Fantasy mobile third-person shooter battle royale that Donkey predicted is going to win Best Mobile Game. Best Ongoing Game is going to Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, even though I don't really feel it should be nominated in this category. And it'll probably also win the award for community support. That or Baldur's Gate 3, but probably Cyberpunk. I think the winner of Games for Impact will be the only game here that I recognize, Chia. Forza will win Innovation and Accessibility due to the fact that heavily visually impaired people can play it. And Dead Space will win Best Audio Design with all its squelches and squishes. Hi-Fi Rush is running away with Best Score in Music. Dredge will probably win both Best Indie and Best Debut Indie, although I would love to hear Jeff say the words Pizza Tower. And to cap off this section, I bet Yuri Lowenthal is going to win Best Performance for his role as Spider-Man. Every nominee here did a fantastic job, but Yuri's performance as Peter Parker in the Symbiote Saga rivaled that of Christopher Daniel Barnes. The emotional range of that guy is insane. So I think Yuri Lowenthal not only deserves it the most, but will end up taking it home. Regardless, let's hope the winner's speech isn't so long this time. Okay, you've had your break, you've had your chance to unwind, but that's over. The Yap Fest is starting again, and I couldn't be happier that I get to run my mouth for way longer than I should about a single award category. So let's see what the next category is. Huh. Well, fuck me, I guess. The category for Best Action Game is a bit of a tough one to predict, with the main standouts being Armored Core 6, Ghost Runner 2, and Hi-Fi Rush. These 3 games are all so different and encompass the entire spectrum of what a video game can be, ranging from I played this one, I played the demo for this one, and I haven't touched this one. Armored Core 6's gameplay is so good that it held my attention to the end despite kicking my ass. Ghost Runner 2 is so fun that I played the demo 4 times before the game came out, and I've seen enough gameplay of Hi-Fi Rush and its incredible visuals to know that it's no joke. I'm honestly very torn in each direction. I don't have a clue what game will win the award. Or at least I wouldn't have a clue if they didn't spoil it ahead of time. You see this little goober right here? Yeah, it says From Software right here, so the competition just flatlined. The action-adventure category is stacked as well, with 4 out of the 5 games being also nominated for Game of the Year. Now that honestly did throw me a bit, because I was thinking which of these 4 deserve Game of the Year. But I have to think about this as which game is the best at being an action-adventure game. All 5 of these games are good as action-adventures, but I'd say Tears of the Kingdom is more defined by its open world that spans 3 maps, and I'd sooner call Alan Wake 2 and Resident Evil 4 survival horrors than I would action-adventures. So that leaves Spider-Man 2 and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I played Jedi Survivor before this channel started, so I haven't reviewed it, but I really enjoyed it and found it to be much more replayable than the first in the series. Choosing between these 2 is a hard choice. Star Wars and Marvel were huge parts of my childhood. They both have great customization options. I love these games so much that I ended up getting the Platinum Trophy for both of them. Jedi Survivor does have an edge over Spider-Man 2 though, which is that I replayed Jedi Survivor on New Game Plus, but I didn't with Spider-Man. I mean, I would if I could. Spider-Man 2 doesn't have a New Game Plus yet. But still, that's one thing Survivor has over Spider-Man. I really did love Jedi Survivor, but unlike Spider-Man, it didn't crack my all-time top 5. So I truly believe that Spider-Man 2 will win the award for Best Action-Adventure Game. Best Art Direction has a few possibilities that I think are likely to win, but I feel like there's a clear order placement for all 5 of these nominees. I'd personally put Legend of Zelda at the bottom of this list, as its art style isn't very innovative. It's a bit par for the course when it comes to the franchise, nothing too impressive or outstanding, and it hasn't really expanded upon its predecessor, Breath of the Wild. Alan Wake 2 has great visuals and graphics and really gets the aesthetic of its locations correct, but is overall very grounded. Next, I'd put Lies of P, a graphically advanced Souls-like based on Pinocchio. Its gothic and fantastical setting looks amazing, and cements its place in open worlds. Mario Wonder does look pretty standard for the Mario franchise at face value, but you'll play through sequences that mesh 2D and 3D into one beautiful platforming experience. The Wonder Seed sections not only enhance the levels and let you play through some of the most creative concepts I've seen in a video game, but they're also such eye candy and will stay on your memory for a while after credits roll. Hi-Fi Rush is winning. Listen, I won't be surprised if any other games take it, but I really doubt a game that looks standard for its franchise 2/3 of the time is gonna beat out a game that looks like this all of the time. Alan Wake 2 does have a section that I think would maybe warrant an art direction win, if you want to get into semantics about the meaning of art direction, but I'd say that fits in another category, which I'll get into later. Best Narrative is going to be pretty short here, considering there are 5 nominees and I've played 1.5 of them. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has a fantastic story that uses its characters and established relationships to give its explosive moments the emotional impact of intimate fallouts. It stumbles a bit in the ending, but catches itself and wraps itself up in a pretty satisfying way that also sets up the future of the franchise. Baldur's Gate is cool. I haven't finished the game yet. I got to Act 3 and turned into a cheese wheel, which was the tits. But from what I've played, the narrative will be especially appreciated if you're a fan of the Baldur's Gate and Divinity games. But as a newcomer, I feel like the villains in the final act sort of came out of nowhere. They plant seeds of these characters as early as the Goblin Camp where you find Minthara in Act 1, but they aren't brought up enough for it to be as impactful when they do finally show up. Again, I haven't finished the game yet, so these aren't my final thoughts, and I'm certainly open to having my mind changed. But so far, it feels like the main draw of this game isn't the actual narrative, but the relationships you build with the characters you meet, and where you're taken on your journey to Baldur's Gate. As for the other 3, Final Fantasy XVI, Alan Wake 2, and Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, I haven't touched these games at all. I did watch some spoiler-free reviews for Alan Wake 2, and it's clear that its story is very confusing, and you won't understand it until you finish it. But when you do, it's incredibly satisfying, and you get a great narrative. So I think Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has a good chance, but will ultimately lose to Baldur's Gate 3 or Alan Wake 2. And if I were in a situation where I had to pick one, like, I don't know, I was uploading my predictions for the winners of each category or something like that, I'd say Baldur's Gate will win. Not because of how good the story is, but because of how much story there is. Going back to what I said earlier, Alan Wake 2 has a sequence that might win it Best Art Direction, but I think that section is more likely going to win it Best Game Direction. Remedy games are made to fuck with your head. This game is like if The Shining was even longer and was playable, and also featured Sam Lake, the creative director at Remedy, who wrote Max Payne and was also the face of Max Payne, playing Alex Casey, who is the partner of Detective Saga, one of the protagonists, and is voiced by James McCaffrey, who is the voice of Max Payne. But Alex Casey is also a character in the book the titular character is writing. And also Sam Lake plays himself in the game in a live-action scene. Now, you can put away your corkboards and red yarn. You don't really have to keep track of all of that to understand the point I'm making. I'm just saying that this game is as confusing as hell, yet somehow wraps up in a satisfying conclusion. Not only that, but its story is accompanied by some of the best shots not only visually, but technically as well. It certainly has its own style, and I'm confident that Alan Wake 2 is winning Best Game Direction. And with that, we're finally here. The main event of the night, the Game of the Year award for 2023. And I'm coping like a motherfucker. We have 6 nominees, and I really feel like 2 of these are out of place. I love the Resident Evil franchise, and 4 is my second favorite, barely trailing behind Resident Evil 2. But I just really don't think it's up to par with the others. The other game I think is sort of out of place is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I did enjoy my time with this game. I give it an 8.5, and I think it's a step in the right direction. I just don't think it's really lived up to my expectations for the game that brought back 2D platforming in Mario games. I doubt Mario would win, but It Takes Two's win back in 2021 shook my confidence and made me realize that anything is possible, no matter how fucking stupid it is, so Mario has a real chance. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 was definitely one of my favorite games this year and has a real chance at being the game I enjoyed the most this year. But looking at it more objectively, I feel like Spider-Man has a snowball's chance in hell, especially since they haven't ever elected a winner that was a video game adaptation of a pre-existing character or franchise. I know I just glazed Alan Wake 2 a shit ton, but I'm legitimately the only person in my friend group who really knows what Alan Wake is. They've all heard of it before, but they don't know what it's about. So I feel like it's not going to take home Game of the Year since its cultural impact isn't as substantial as some of the other candidates. Until Baldur's Gate 3 released, I was 100% sure that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was going to win Game of the Year. It took the 2017 Game of the Year and just piled onto it with that green goo. It added more story, more mechanics, more abilities, and 2 more maps. I still do think it has a good chance at winning, but everyone agrees it's going to be Baldur's Gate 3. The Game Awards love RPGs, and this is one of the RPSGs I've ever seen in my life. It's such a vast world that allows for so much freedom, and gives the player the opportunity to go through quests as they please, with drastically changing outcomes for whatever path you choose. It's not my kind of game. I don't like RPGs, I'm not a big fan of the fantasy setting, I hate top-downs, and I despise turn-based combat. But even I enjoy this game. I don't think that Baldur's Gate 3 is my favorite game or the best game of 2023. But for the 2023 Game of the Year award, I would like to see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 win. I think that Alan Wake 2 deserves it the most, but I'm predicting that regardless, Baldur's Gate 3 will win. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, subscribing would be incredibly appreciated. I'm so grateful for the community we've grown, and I cannot thank you enough. Comment down below your predictions for the Game Awards, and let me know what you thought of the video. I'm very excited to watch the show regardless of who wins what, and as my last prediction, I almost guarantee you that Grand Theft Auto 6 will debut its first trailer at the Game Awards. Sam Houser announced that the trailer will drop in early December, and the Game Awards are on the 7th, the end of the first week of December, so I feel like it's pretty much inevitable. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.